the poem which is prescribed, and that is the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock. About this poem, I would just say that there have been many critics who have been praising this poem and considering this to be a landmark poetry, a landmark poem in English poetry. Why? Because it concentrates to express the boredom, the horror, and the glory of the contemporary world. So this is a one-liner for this poem, The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock, where so many critics around the world have praised this poem. And while praising, they have tried to make it clear that this poem concentrates to express what? To express the boredom. So these are the words which has to be written while writing your answers. Boredom, the horror, and the glory of the contemporary world. So these lines, these phrases, these poetic, these diction will manage you to get more marks from the examiner. And it also represents a complete break with the 19th century tradition. Complete break with the 19th century tradition. And that is why a new start. Somewhere I have read, I still remember, that Professor F.R. Lewis has expressed that poetry that expresses freely a modern sensibility, the ways, feeling, the modes of experience of one fully alive in his own age. And the poem pictures a mind in conflict with love. So this poem is actually presented as a monologue. So these, you have to remember that this poem is presented as a monologue. As a monologue by whom? By Prufrock. See. And it has got an excellent artistic achievement. And the poem describes the tragedy of an important man. And that important man is basically, or we can say, is hypersexed. The person is not presented, but some of his features are presented. And what is his aim? His aim is to declare himself to a lady. Aim is to declare himself to a lady. But you know what happens if you go through this poem? He is in a confusion. And he is in a confusion thinking to whom he should declare his love. किसको हम प्यार का declaration करें? To whom he should declare his love? So, आपने वो line पढ़ी होगी, the patient etherized on a table. So here I will say that he himself is like an etherized patient placed on a table. So यहाँ पे आप उसको note कर सकते हैं, you can even note it down, that he is in a confusion thinking to whom he should declare his love. To whom he should declare his love, पहली बात. And दूसरी बात, he himself is like an etherized patient. He himself is like an etherized patient placed on a table. Fine. Now, to move further, indulging in daydreams, Prufrock has allowed his ideal conception of women to dominate his transactions of reality, and he abused the intellect by channelizing it to profitless fantasy. And so he also cultivated an illusory notion of love. What he cultivated, students? He cultivated an illusory notion of love which has actually paralyzed his will. And we also come across echoes of the French symbolists. हम किससे रूबरू होते हैं? We come across echoes of the French symbolists and even the English metaphysicals in it. And we cannot forget that the stream of conscious technique, a very important thing to be remembered by all of you while writing your answers, that stream of conscious, लिख लीजिए, consciousness, stream consciousness technique is employed by T.S. Eliot here, and the arrest of the march of time is also indicated in a very popular simile. And what is that simile, students? A very popular line: the evening is spread out against the sky. See, the evening is spread out. The evening is spread out. यहाँ पे एक मिस्टेक है, अगेंस्ट होगा, अगेंस्ट द स्काई. आप चेक कर सकते हैं ओरिजिनल लाइन से. लाइक अ पेशेंट इथराइज्ड अपॉन अ टेबल, like a patient etherized upon a table. So देखिए यहां पे क्या लगा है, like. So it becomes a simile. So the simile which is used here, जो मैं आपसे कह रहा था, that the evening is spread out against the sky like a patient etherized upon a table. So the poem is also actually a confusion of the despair of a romantic aesthete who is basically able to make an existential choice. Existential को हिंदी में कहते हैं अस्तित्ववाद. And the stillness of the evening, जो शाम की जो अंधेरा जब होता है उसकी जो stillness है, the stillness of the evening is basically being conveyed by the simile of an etherized patient. Fine. And later evening is compared. बाद में क्या होता है students, जो शाम है उसको compare करते हैं एक sleeping person से. Evening is compared to a sleeping person. And you will find when you get into the deep of it that the central situation of this poem, ये भी आप लिख सकते हैं while writing it, because these are very important points to get good marks. The central situation of the poem is indeed, यहां पे लिख लीजिए, central situation of the poem, क्या मैंने बताया, is indeed one of spiritual distress. is one of spiritual distress. Now, what happens that Prufrock tries to compare himself with biblical and literary figures. Prufrock क्या करता है? He tries to compare, अपने से वो compare करता है with biblical and literary figures. Biblical means Bible से. He compares himself with biblical and literary figures. And who are those literary figures, students? John the Baptist. मैं लिख देता हूं यहां पे, John the Baptist. और कौन हो सकता है? Lazarus. And third, Hamlet. So again, I'm trying to make you understand that Prufrock tries to compare himself with biblical and literary figures like John the Baptist, like Lazarus, like Hamlet. He is neither a prophet nor Lazarus nor a tragic hero like Hamlet, but yet he is a prophet in a very, very limited sense. Why? Because he is exposing through his self-analysis, his spiritual hollowness, जो खोखलापन है, spiritual hollowness, we can say the alienation and even the anxiety of all those that live as slaves to the flesh. So this is what your answer should carry when you are solving the question related to the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock. Now, you remember in this poem, you go through this, you keep your original in front of you. वहाँ पे दो लाइन है, I am lost, come from the dead. I am lost, come from the dead. From the dead, come hack to tell you all, I shall tell all. So these two lines you can check where the romantic Prufrock finally gives up his heroic pretensions and accepts a very minor role in life, and he is painfully aware of his growing old, and while growing old, the self-analysis, you will find again the two lines which is completed in a couplet. And what is that couplet, students? आप ओरिजिनल वाली लाइंस में देखिए, I grow old, जहां पे वो कहता है I grow old, I shall wear the bottoms of my trousers rolled. I shall wear I grow old, I shall wear the bottoms of my trousers. The bottoms of my trousers rolled. So the poem, in fact, is concerned with fitting together the incongruities. Incongruities का मतलब होता है हिंदी में जो हमारे अंदर कमियां हैं. So this poem is concerned with fitting together of incongruities which are lying hidden in you, in your personality. And Prufrock cannot reconcile his own character with the romantic situations into which he is foreseeing himself down. Fine. So this is about, this great poem, but here I would also give you something about specifically what to blend about T.S. Eliot, because every answer has to be blended with a great knowledge about T.S. Eliot as a great poet.